Hi, I'm Pam, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I thought I would just film a quick look. I'm getting ready to stream later this afternoon and thought I would film it so you can see how I got it. I'm just doing this olive green and gold eye look with fairly glowy and subtle skin. If you like the look of it and want to see how I did it, then keep watching. I'm going to try something with a little different technique than usual. It's going to be a cool green and gold look. I am not using a lot of specific products, but I will be using my Auric products that I got at the end of last year, which I don't think I've used on video before. But those are will be a couple of the key items I'll be using. Just to start out, I'm going to go with the eyes. So far, I just have done my brows because those are a pain in the butt to do on camera. And I sadly think that I am close to being done with my NYX Lift and Snatch that I've been using. I do have more ready to go, but yeah, so that's done. Just putting on the Milani eyeshadow primer and just blending it all over my eyelid just with a little, I guess this isn't a shader brush, but I've been using this specifically to blend in my primer. Just get a nice base down, extend the lifespan of the eyeshadow that I'm going to be doing, help prevent creasing, things like that. Now to start out this look, I'm just going to put a sort of cool toned brown, just a few shades darker than my skin tone, basically all over the eyelid, in the crease, and sort of blend it up into the brow. I am using the shade Coolada, which is from the ColourPop Going Coconuts. You know, it's a cool tone light brown. I'm sure you can find one in many palettes, so whatever you have, I'm sure will work. And I'm just going in here through the crease first. That's sort of where I want it to most be seen, sort of blending up into the brow. And then just dipping in again to just sort of put it over the lid itself. It doesn't need to go all the way down to the lash line because we're going to be putting on a sort of kind of like a thick cream liner. And that's that. And I'll just go in with the other eye. I really want the focus to be on the sort of greeny color I'll be using, as well as the gold I'll be using on the inner corner, which you'll see soon. This should be a fairly quick look. 3 shadows is less than I usually use for any particular look. So yeah, just want that base down just so that we've got a little bit of color, a little bit of extra sort of depth, without this really standing out too much. So now I am going in with the Auric Smoke Reflect, and this is in the shade Entice. It's one of their holiday shades. I believe they still have it in stock, and it is just a cream shadow, and it's beautiful. I was a little nervous because I'm not much of a cream shadow user, but it goes on very, very well. It's really easy to work with and easy to blend. So as soon as I find the right brush, I'll start putting this on. Okay, I found it. So I'm using this little smudger brush here. So it's just a little stubby, fairly dense brush. And this specific one is from the Vintage Cosmetic Company. I think I got this in a BoxyCharm. I'm not super familiar with it. And you can just go in a little bit right in here, pack it on both sides, pack it on the sort of tip of the brush, and I'm basically just going to be doing like a thick eyeliner with this. So we will start at the outer corner and just sort of sweep across. This is much easier when I don't have to hold a mirror. And don't be afraid to like really put the product on the brush so that you've got enough to very easily and smoothly line your eye there. Okay, now I'm just going to go in with the other one. I think this one's a little bit thicker, so we'll have to fix things up. Actually, that looks better thicker. And just add a little bit more on here. I really like this because you can, put it down very sort of thick if you want, or you can also use a blending brush to sort of blend it out into something a little more transparent if that's what you're looking for. Now I'm also going to take this on my lower lash line, just like this. Basically just lining the whole eye with the exception of the inner corner where the gold will be going. And I also want to make this a little bit on the thicker side. Make sure it connects right to the top line. I do find this can sort of get a little bit mussy in my lower lashes when I do this. But I can clean those up after as well. Okay, so we've got the lining on there. I'm just going to grab a Q-tip and just sort of get this out of my lower lashes, and I'll be right back. So you can also just use the Q-tip just to make sure, you probably shouldn't lick it, you should probably use something else, but whatever, it's just my face and my spit. You can use it just to make sure that the line is nice and crisp down here in case any has sort of traveled down a little bit. And if you have creases under your eyes like I do, and lower liner tends to sort of move into those creases after a little bit, just give it 10 or 15 minutes, take either a Q-tip or even just your finger and just sort of pat it out, and that'll usually take care of it for the rest of the day, for me at least. Now to finish off the shadow look, I'm going to be putting a gold in the inner corner just for some pop. I am using the Alamar Cosmetics Reina del Caribe, and it is the shade Melacon right here. It is a very cool gold, which I don't see much. So if you have something more of a warmer gold, like more of a yellowy gold, that's fine. That'll work too. I just particularly like this color, so I'm just going in with a little teeny brush, and I will just pop this on the inner corner of my eye. And I'm gonna make it fairly intense, like most of the lid shade is quite neutral, just a little darker than normal. So we want this inner shadow to really pop. And it goes really well with this sort of olivey green color as well. So there we go. So we've got a nice inner corner shimmer. Now, lately I've not been as into the BB creams and tinted moisturizers as usual, and I just want to do some spot concealing and highlighting. So for these, I'm using my Sustain Complexion pencils. I have one in Fair 1 and one in Fair 2. Sorry for the helicopter outside my window. So Fair 1, I'm going to take as the lightest shade, and I'm just going to put it sort of under my eyes for some highlighting there. Man, that's really loud. And along the bridge of my nose, and then the slightly darker color I'm going to use just for spot concealing any redness, so like around my nostrils here, a little sort of where smile lines would be, a little bit on my chin, and then just any sort of discoloration or anything I have on my cheeks as well, and maybe just a little bit on the forehead, just for good measure. And these blend in really well with your fingers, so I especially like fingers for under my eyes. It just blends it really, really nicely. I'll take this in here, down the nose. I really love these pencils. They're so good. And that's basically it. And then I'm just going to take this brush that I use for concealer. It's sort of a big fluffy brush that you wouldn't usually think of for concealer, but I like it just to give a final blend. Oh, I forgot some here. Blend into everything. Now, staying with the cooler look for blush, I am going to use this little Rare Beauty Mini, and this is in the shade Hope. It's sort of like a dusty rose color. Let's grab a brush. I'm just using this little putty blush brush from e.l.f. for this, and just putting this sort of along the cheekbones here, and then I will blend it in. Actually, let me go in with my fingers first. Just, that helps sort of push the product around a little bit more. Oh, might have gone a little heavier on one side than the other, but, and then the putty blush brush will just blend out all the edges and make everything look all nice and smooth. Let me get my little mirror so I'm not looking away from you. Now it does look like I went a little harder on one side than the other, so I'm just going to do another, quick little dot here. A little goes a very long way when it comes to these. I need very little. Makes me wish they had more minis, because I can't imagine I will ever go through the one full size I have of this. Okay, so there is blush. And last, for complexion, we're going to go in with the Auric Glow Lust. This is their lightest shade, Morganite. I absolutely love this stuff. It's expensive, but it's also like the only highlighter I ever want to use again. So you need very little of it, like half a pump. I've never used a full pump of anything. Just gonna go in like that, and this is going to go on my cheekbones, and then maybe a couple other places if I feel like it, but just going across the cheekbones here, maybe a little bit on the bridge of the nose, a little bit on the forehead, basically where highlight would go. And then I wonder if I can use this as a brow highlight. Can probably do it. Just very, very lightly, because I don't want to mess up the shadow underneath. But yeah, once I do that, then I just basically just pat away with my fingers until this is nice and blended and I look nice and glowy. This is good. You can mix it with your foundation or your BB cream or whatever. I've tried that, but mostly I've just been using it like this, specifically on my cheekbones, but occasionally other places if I feel like it. Now I'm just going to put on some mascara. I'm going to use the ColourPop Acne Natural Defining Mascara. This isn't my absolute favorite, but I'm trying to use it up before it dries out, so just specifically going to focus on the outer lashes, so just, oh shit, mascara is not for the cheek, just, you know, one swipe through everything and then a few just pulling the outer lashes out. Okay, and lastly, we'll just do a very subtle lip. I'm going to just go in with my Juvia's Place lip balm. You can use any lip balm you like. This is just a way to make matte lipstick a little bit sheer and more subtle than it would be, so just really, really slathering that balm on. And then I'm going to go in with my Colored Raine May She Raine lipstick. And this is just going to like very lightly sort of swipe on over the balm so that you only get a hint of the color that you would if you were just going on your lips dry and direct. And there we go. I will just zoom you in so you can get a bit of a closer look at this glow here and the eye look. I love this Glow Lust. I'm happy. I'm happy I took the plunge and I bought it, and I quite like this cream shadow as well. And you know I love my Sustain pencils. They're great. So that's the final look. A little bit subtle, but not too subtle. You know, eyeshadow that isn't crazy, but is still sort of a bit of a statement. I generally really like how this turned out. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment if you have any requests or anything you'd like to see in the future. And I will see you next time.